All right, everybody. Drop the sound out here a little bit. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. I'm Preacher Miles, host of the SOS and Shout Out Show. Greetings and salutations. Hope that everybody is having a wonderful Wednesday. Wednesday is important. Why? Because it's the middle of the week, but we have quite a show today. This is going to be my annual, a message to Muslims in white America. Listen, a message to Muslims in white America. And the way I tried to frame this thing, because, we had a prophet that was a universal prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, that I'm going to allow America to listen into this message, even if you are not Muslim, because you listen to other Muslim stuff anyway. So hell, why should we switch it up? Want to give a shout out to a couple groups of people. My folks down in Colombia, I want to say Salento, Colombia. I had a trip down there, great trip, brothers and sisters. Just good spiritual renewal. Shout out to Intuitive Solutions, my main man Tyab and his family, brother Jerry, so many other people, Imam Adrian out of Memphis. I mean, we had so many folks that were there, and made the connection. So I'm gonna say this, and I know I don't say this often because I really don't take vacations. I'm a workaholic. I don't really know how to turn it down a lot of times, but sometimes even the people that work hard, that really work hard in your life, tell them, let's pump the brakes a little bit and renew. Here's what I'm saying: renew. I didn't say retire, renew. Because in that space, when you can renew, sometimes you can get different visions. That creativity has been muddled and handcuffed because you're doing so many other things, working on the strain and deadlines. Sometimes when you have that couple of days, it just flourishes. So all praise to the Lord, was able to capitalize on that, and I'm just happy to be back here. Peace and blessings for everybody that tuned in last week. I wasn't here, but I was working to bring you the show that I have today. So inshallah, we're gonna have a good time. Let me pump the brakes on a few things. It's interesting that ICE has become so prevalent. Numbers show, document that Barack Obama deported more people than Trump did at this point in time. But it's so much about the show these days. It is so much about the show these days. A show of force, a show of power, a show of leadership. But I think the thing is, you have to look at what I'm saying: a show of power, show of leadership, show of authority. But it's all a show. And you have to understand the nature of the show. So today I want, and I mean, forgive me for appearing or sounding didactic in any way. This is a teaching moment, as much for you as it is for me, to begin to talk about this messaging taking a pounding, but it's different now. Anybody right now feels like they can take a pounding to the Muslim image, and the pounding to this Muslim image is just a skip jumping away from the fact that people have been wanting to pound and corrupt this image of Islam, which is not an image of Islam per se, but it's God. That people who are God fearing all of a sudden have lined up in the scope of all these other people. See, when you watch news, you have to understand that there are man-made things that are happening, and then you have to look around and say, you know what, man is not able to control some of these things that they say. A shout out to people in Texas who sadly went through this terrible storm out by Austin. Was it Tree Hill? I can't remember. I'm sorry. You're talking about almost 100 lives lost. And you say, why did that happen? And a lot of people say, well, you know what? They took money away from the forecasters. Don't even do that. I'm asking you, like I have to ask myself, go beyond the obvious. A lot of places in Texas are not set up to deal with flooding. There are a lot of places on the East Coast that are not set up to deal with disasters, natural disasters. The money hasn't been there for years. And they build on these things and they legislate and they give you high property taxes, knowing that the will of God is connected to weather too. And when it comes to it, there's nothing that you can do about it. We have built ourselves up to think that we can control things. Put our faith in people we think can control things. Dan Rather, former reporter, journalist on CBS, had a great quote. A lot of people applauded it. A lot of people took shots at him. I'm paraphrasing, but he said this term, and I want you to think about this as I kind of get into the space. He said a term. He said, listen, when a clown enters a kingdom, it's not a kingdom, it becomes a circus. Ladies and gentlemen, we're dealing with the circus right now. I'm going to talk about it. Hope you're going to stick with me. Glad to see you back in this space. Assalamu alaikum. All right, we're back. We're going to start out with our shout out show soldiers. We got some people in the space new to the shout out show family. We want to make sure we show them some love. Satana, let's throw them up. We got our day one, Sister Ree. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, saying hello, family. What's up, sis? Hope that all is well with you and the family. Derek, Jawad, everybody, hope you're doing well. Health is good. Give mom a call. You know, she's going on family reunion in Danville, so I need you to temper her expectations. Next up, Bilal Salahuddin, and of course his lovely queen, Sister Sonia Dalton Salahuddin. What's going on, brother? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Always happy to see you. I did one of your moves, man. I left the country. I went to Colombia. All right, it's not like you going out 3-4 times, but I went out to Colombia, man, and I appreciate some of the stuff you told me about the trips and pictures you would share. I'm gonna send you some pictures, inshallah. I was at a coffee farm, and I don't even like coffee. But I was really captured by how they do the whole coffee thing. People think it's instant coffee. No, it takes really a process of 3 to 5 years to get the right coffee bean and to get it to your spot. So I just wanted to let you know I'm growing. Okay. Next up, my man Altaf Rashid. We call him Mr. Day One, Mr. 6 o'clock, straight up, straight down. A Canadian envoy, all the way from Toronto, brother. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good friend, good to see you in the building. Next up, Jabril. Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My main man from Charlotte, North Carolina, man. Hey, give the people in Charlotte, man, a lot of love and thank them for welcoming me and making me feel comfortable. Had a good time. Shout out to your cat. I would have hung out with your cat, man, but I got allergies and I have any clarity, so I couldn't kick it with her. But shout out to the cat. Get a cat slams. But, all right. Oh, by the way, your wife is an amazing cook too. So believe me, when I had that food, I went straight back to the hotel. I prayed and got right into itis right after I finished. All right. Next up, we got Sister Sabrina Mustafa Yamani. Sister, welcome to the show. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much. You are a part of our Shout Out Show family. Thank you so much for tuning in. We pray you and your family well. May Allah continue to bless you and guide you in this life and the next. Next up. Now, this is a friend of mine. Hars, what's big things with impact? What's happening, brother? Peace and blessings to you and your family and your brother, man. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. Doing big things with impact. So make sure you make dua for this brother, his family, and the powers of impact, man. They're doing a lot of things in the civic space. We want to make sure that they appreciate it. We're giving you your flowers, Tar. So thanks so much for coming on the show. I said, mashallah, my cat is watching. See, we get all kind of people here on the Shout Out Show. Alhamdulillah. And this show is not possible. Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh without our executive producer, Sister Satana Whitfield, one of the most talented people in the game. You say, some people go, preach, how did you do 1,000 episodes of the Shout Out Show? I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you how. I didn't do it alone. The sister's been with me from day one. When we took it from one show, went to 30 shows, the Shout Out Show 30 for 30 during Ramadan, just carried forth. And it's funny to be in places, man, like in Australia, and people say shout out Chef. Then that's how they say it with a little accent, but it's fun, man. So we're reaching people. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. All right. Do we have anybody else? Or we got some people in Instagram land. Let me we got Principal 77 and Taserfied. How you doing? Appreciate you. We got La Use One joined. My main man, Brother Mir with Maslama Lifestyle. I'm gonna bring his shirt back on the break. He has a clothing line, and I know I wore the shirt on the show, but the shirt I showed you didn't go with the lights. That's why I got a different one. Make sure you go check him out. I'm gonna give you some information so you can check him out. Good to see you, brother. Anwar Saeed, what's going on? Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, brother. Appreciate you. Shadia 213. 213 is like California. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In Kismali 07. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. So let me get down to business. This is a message to Muslims in white America. Now, people say, what is white America? You know, in America, it's interesting that people go, what is, when you say white America, people always think you're a racist. But what I'm only doing is referencing when white America actually had some gravitas, that people were happy to say white America, whites only, white restricted, white privilege. There was a time where, guess what? You know, it was cool to have all those things. What happens when reality comes through? And you realize that that whole white privilege thing historically is based on the fact that, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Listen, if there are any racists out here, if there are any MAGA people who are in their feelings right now, let me tell you something. I love you. Allah has blessed me to give you the message and allow you to listen in with, along with the Muslims. I'm going to give you the message that you need to hear. And you Muslims need to hear too. There are so many people in this construct of white America who are just not talented. If you didn't have Native Americans when you came in here, you'd die. If you have black people, that Africans that knew how to do the soil, you'd never had cotton. You see what I'm saying? You didn't ever have jazz. You never have blues. I'm still trying to figure out what the contribution of white America is to white America. And the contribution of white America and white America is that you hijack Black excellence, you hijack Muslim excellence, you hijack Native American excellence. And I don't mind you hijacking, but stop trying to package it like it's your own. I'm an OG. I'm born in the 60s, 1966. I was born the year that the Black Panthers started. A year before, Malcolm X passed away. 2 years after, guess what? King was assassinated. I know things from the womb. I'm trying to help parts of white America because you need to know you're not talented. Now, am I being mean? No. I would pray that someone would tell me if I wasn't talented, if I wasn't educated, if I wasn't smart. Hell, I would pray that someone would tell me that I'm out of pocket if I do something. I'm trying to help you, white America, because on your own, you're not going to make it. Now to the Muslims. You got a lot of things going on. Wars, Palestine, Yemen, and the things that are being shown in the media are meant, brothers and sisters, to disarm your soul. They're meant to make you feel like there's nothing that you can do. That somehow we are mindless spiritual bystanders to the hypocrisy and oppression that's going on around us. Let me hearken you to a conversation I had in London years ago. And the conversation was about Al Qaeda. I was talking to a guy, he was from MS-16, whatever British intelligence is, James Bond, whatever it is. But we got to talking, and this is important, that we got to talking about Al Qaeda. And he asked me what I thought Al Qaeda was. And I said, I believe Al Qaeda, and I work with me now, I'm a creative. So I believe Al Qaeda is basically maybe 300 dudes with about 5 good writers and a really good camera. That what's being written out there, brothers and sisters, are these isolated instances, and people hope that we blow them up to the point where we are acting against our own self-interest. And I think this is important, acting against your own self-interest, regardless of the fact that you go to the masjid on Friday, regardless of the fact that you pray 5 times a day, that we feel like that there's no respite for our soul for the things that are going around. My message to Muslims in white America: look to your left, look to your right. If you ain't got the KKK running at you this way, or white Nazis running to you this way from that direction, you got a chance to win. You know why? Because they can't be there all the time. Let me tell you something about white America. White America has been, for the longest time, framed by the wisdom of the crowd. I say the wisdom of the crowd. I didn't say that the wisdom was smart wisdom. I said it's the wisdom of the crowd. If you really want to understand what I'm talking about, and you do your homework, now this part right here ain't funny, it's painful. This is America. When black folk figure out how to do for self out of slavery and Reconstruction, and they realized that everything they were trying to do was being counteracted by white America at their time. They tried to keep you out of school. They didn't want you to go to school with their children or in these places. And somehow the wellspring of black America said, damn it, we'll do it ourselves. You don't want us at your school, we'll build our own schools. And in a period, hear me now, in a period of maybe 100+ years, you went from the slave, from the plantation, to having lawyers argue in the Supreme Court. This is amazing. I'm saying, Muslims, where is our movement? You know, when Muhammad Ali died, and I was at his janazah, there was a huge question. You know what the question was? Who will stand up for us? Who will stand up for you? And shout out to Muhammad Ali. His accolades from when he was stripped of his championship to the time he got it back, his gravitas was so huge that people didn't dare come after the image of Muslims. They were scared because we had a Muhammad Ali. They were scared because we had a Malcolm X. Though assassinated in 65, we had a Malcolm X. That we have galvanizing forces in our midst that can do these things. And my point is, Muslims, we need to be developing these galvanizing forces, because I'm going to say this, and it may seem wrong or out of pocket, but white America needs our leadership. They need to be led. I said this on shows before. My father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, my mother, my everybody on the Shout Out show that watches this show knows there is no vestige of white leadership. I will not follow a white man in this country. And it's not being racist. I'm looking at the chain of command of white men. If this white America worked, hear me now, if this white America worked, then damn it, it would work for everybody. I get upset, not that it doesn't work for black people or Muslims, it doesn't work for white people. Case in point, West Virginia. West Virginia is a museum of white America not working for white America. Just walking through West Virginia and having on shoes in the eyes that people look at, he got on shoes. They nice shoes. The car you drive. My cousin Jason went to school, West Virginia Tech. It was in Montgomery, West Virginia. I'll never forget it, because they had a railroad track that went through the city and then went to the center of the town. It was separated by a railroad track. And life was at a gas station for most of them. I remember pumping gas and driving off, and they were like, oh, he escaped. Okay, let me get to this. There's a term I'm going to introduce for a message to Muslims in white America. You ready? It's the principle of the TGs. So time to write this down. This is the TG thing. TG means the gullibles. The gullibles. Now, most people think that the gullibles are stupid or scared or uneducated. It's worse than that. It's those who are educated. It's those who know right from wrong, but it's still gullible. And gullible is a TG reference. But what I'm saying is, it's not even being gullible, it's being cowardly. They just ramrodded the big, beautiful bill. Who named a bill the big, beautiful bill in the first place? Okay. You know who the big, beautiful bill? People who drop shrooms and pimps who are retiring refer to something as the big bill. Satana is shaking her head like, you can't say that. Yes, I can. Retired pimps and people who drop shrooms say the big bill. All right. This is the thing. And this is an old hustle. To get the big bill approved, first of all, it was like 920 plus some pages. And you're trying to give it to people to what to read that night. And I understand Hakeem Jeffries trying to filibuster. I'm like, bro, you should have known what this bill looked like in the first place. That's a whole nother case. But to a room of TGs, this seems normal. To a room of TGs, this seems doable. To a room of TGs, if you tell me what's on page 1, and I believe that when we get to page 920, that this somehow is you know what I'm saying? This somehow is relatable. It's not. Nobody even read Project 2025. I'm talking about cover to cover. I mean, people have, but to the layman, they didn't. And it's an interesting thing when people who are educated are treated as TGs, the gullibles. My message to the Muslims in white America is, listen, this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt. Satana, this may go against prophetic narrative, but here goes. When you see someone stupid, you might have to let them be stupid. When you see somebody sitting on the television watching the couch, you might have to leave them there. Because too much energy is spent on trying to save mediocrity. Can I say that, Satana? Too much energy is spent on trying to save mediocrity. There are those brothers and sisters that are not going to make it. Make a dua for them and keep it moving. Stop sticking around. I'm going to say this. Interfaith, if I hear any more about interfaith, I'm going to get sick. It's two things. It's interfaith and it's interfake. And when someone shows you who they are, like Maya Angelou says, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Because the power lies, brothers and sisters, in finding people who are mentally, spiritually, and emotionally like-minded in one regard. They think differently, but then they think differently. They think the same, but then they think differently on certain things. So the robust conversation is about people who are 1, focused, 2, accountable, 3, talented, 4, if you're not talented, you're devoted to giving hard work, and 5, this is a big one, Muslims. 5, I've got to be able to see your body of work. When I talk about white America, I'm talking about a system that doesn't work. I'm talking about a system that openly rejects me. I would love to say it's just because I'm black, because, that would be nice. But it's layers to it. It might be because I'm black, but I'm educated. It might be because I'm black because I know who God is. It might be black. It might be because I'm black, but all of a sudden I have an ethic system about how I treat people around me. And it does not look like what they do to other folks. If you ever want to have some fun, and we're going to take a break, quick commercial. I want you to read about how Europeans treated Europeans in the absence of people of color. We'll be right back here on the Shout Out Show. Don't you move. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. I'm Preacher Moss, Muslim comedian, OG, with a huge announcement. Get ready, Chicagoland, because Halal Fest 2025 is coming back August the 2nd and the 3rd. We're going to be at Frontier Park in Naperville, Illinois. You don't want to miss it. Let me tell you a few things just to get you guys ready. First of all, tickets are on sale. Early bird tickets are on sale. That's one. Number two, this is of course being brought to you. I got to give them their flowers. This whole presentation and festival is being brought to you by, again, the Illinois Muslim Chamber of Commerce. So we're gonna give them some love too. And listen, we got live performances, cultural performances. You got live entertainment, live stand-up. That be me. And as well, we got food. We have connection. We got community. We just need you. Listen, don't walk, run to your computer, go to your phone, find the nearest QR code, and get your tickets, brothers and sisters. Oh, by the way, if you get a ticket, your name is automatically going to be entered into a raffle, and there's going to be big prizes. I don't know what they're giving away, but big prizes, big laughs, big community, big halal fest. Don't miss it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Why are you standing there? Go get your tickets. I got to do everything. All right, listen, we got some people I want to pull in from Instagram. Anwar Saeed, 99. Assalamu alaikum. Sister Shadia, 213. Assalamu alaikum. I say Ash MVTS. How you doing? Irfan Jazz Arabian. Sister Ruth Nasrullah. How you doing, Sister Ruth? Assalamu alaikum to all of y'all. I choose nothing. I like that name. Assalamu alaikum to you. Sister Ruth said, oh dang. And said Smith Jr. Sound like a beloved. We got Satana. We got some folks. Now, this is my main man. I cut a commercial for him. This is my dentist, just so you know. My main man, Umar Hawk, fixed my teeth. I had a chip. Y'all don't even know. He fixed my teeth. Why you laughing, Satana? It was not like it was a big chip, but it was a chip. Fixed it, appreciate it. We got to hang out in the office. Thank you so much. Shout out to give my salams to everybody in the dentist office too. We got Eric Carter. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, beloved. Good to see you. My brother JT. Got some coffee, Colombian coffee coming your way. I'll talk to you about it a little bit later. Wa alaikum assalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And Jabril. I see Jabril has been at Jabril is like the Muslim zealot. Jabril has been everywhere. You know, Zelik was a character that showed up in crucial parts of history. Jabril is the same way. And he said, can we put this up? Now, this is Jabril and I, we feel the same way, but he's framed it differently. Much of the interfaith experience is indeed interfaith. I threw that in there. Folks are not are keeping it 100 and discussing things that can truly allow us to have something we can hold on, we can build on, instead of denying issues that are right in our face while we hum kumbaya. Okay, I got a couple minutes because I want to get past the kumbaya thing. Hard questions need to be asked. We're a generation that's so sensitive to the point we're not worried. We're so worried about the response, we don't even know how to ask the hard question. We are conditioned to sit back and the Muslim community has become that. Am I saying we're soft? Hell yeah. I'm saying we're butter soft. I'm talking about butter on 100-degree day in the Sahara, butter soft. Why? We spent so much time trying to entertain the conceptions and the perceptions of other people that we forgot, in many regards, the folks that got us here. They were hard because they had to be hard. Our parents, our grandparents, who these days we would label them as poor conversationalists. Maybe we say that they're socially awkward. Let me tell y'all something. They were as real as they came. If you got a mom and dad that was born in the 40s or 50s or in the 30s, whatever, they kept it real because they carry history with them. You know, no knock against the young crowd. Y'all ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing. It's for me to be able to have a book that showcases all the hangings that happened in America, lynchings, if you will, that happened in America. It's a book. It's a photojournalism representation of hangings in America. And the impetus is that these people would bring their children to public lynchings. You know what I'm saying? That this was a family affair. This was a social event. I want you to understand that this is the white America. And in this point, this situation, brothers and sisters, you can't overlook that it happened in the 30s and think that they are not people. They're not people who are outgrowth of that system, that are in our political system, in our Senate, in our Congress, on the police force, that those people yearn for those days. In the absence of creativity, some people, all they want is power. In the absence of talent, all they want is power. Because that's the only way to express themselves. You know, it's like a basketball game. Satana, you one coach, I'm another coach. A basketball game. We're playing basketball. And somebody walks in, they can't shoot, they can't dribble, they can't defend. I mean, hell, they can't even bring the water bottles around. Their only way to have control in that situation is to take the ball. Take the ball. And when people go, I want my ball back, they issue violence. They issue rules. They issue laws that are not ethical, the laws that are not fair. And they frame them in a place where you're not involved, where you're not invited. And in that space, it's called sovereign government, but it doesn't look like you. It doesn't work for you. In this place, you got to understand, if we're not invited, and I'm going to wrap here. If we're not invited, here's the thing you have to do. You have to create a place where you are you have the ability to have a sovereign government. You have the ability to have a government that literally ethically deals with the people that you love, that you disagree with, but the fairness is the thing that's there. You know, like it or don't like it, I'm kind of laughing. Elon Musk and 47 are having a lover spat. They just thought they having a lover spat. But my point is, Elon Musk said, he says, I got so much money, I will start a new political party. Guess what they did? So white America can't handle competition, especially with white America. All right, that's a shout out show. I'm sorry I ran over Satana. Satana had to catch a bus, but she's late. So now we gotta wait for another bus. All right, I'm messing with you. Listen, you guys have been great. Appreciate you. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is Preacher Moss on the Shout Out Show. See you next week.